Hi, everyone, and welcome, welcome, welcome. How wonderful to have you all here today with us. If you look at Lisa's background, you will have an idea of what we're going to be talking about today. If you look at Sabina's background, you realize that we're talking about being healthy. So, let me just explain to you why the name is Being Healthy. It's also the name of the book that will be released soon, the book that I wrote. It's also a course, and it is their podcast. They support each other, they're companions to each other. Why being healthy? Not why not be healthy? I've had some people ask me, why not be healthy? Because health is a constant redoing and recalculating. So you cannot just be healthy and be stationary and static. It stays there. It's dynamic. It's a process and it's seasonal. Every season has its own opportunity to be more healthier than the last season or less healthy. And today we're going to be speaking about the actual seasons as it relates to the most maligned foods, and the most uh, misinformation that is given about our food source. Now, most people take their actual knowledge and information for food and what to eat and what to do in life and everything in life from commercials, from being taught in schools. And what we're taught in schools, especially now, I'm not talking about in our grandparents' and great grandparents' time, is actually not correct. It's all based on who's paying the money. And what we're taught doesn't prepare us for life, and definitely not for health. What we're taught in school does not prepare us for health. And we will continue with this, but I'd like you to watch this in a moment.
What if I told you that every single day kids go to school, they become less intelligent? The fact is, there is so much more than just one type of intelligence. And while school can make you more academically intelligent, it can teach you physics, algebra, calculus. It is diminishing the children's creative intelligence. It is teaching them to think a certain way, to go down a certain path in life. It is telling them, go to high school, get a diploma, go to a good college, find a stable job. And if you don't do that, you won't be successful. How did I, a straight C student, start a technology company at the age of 16? It must be something that can't be measured by academic intelligence alone. I still think I'm the only Asian kid in the world that doesn't understand math. And if there's one message I want you to take away from everything I've said, it's this. No one has ever changed the world by doing what the world has told them to do.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So this is why we're doing this show today, because this is really important to know that we're being taught about what's healthy and what's excellent for us is actually most of the time not true. So I want you to look at a few things that I'm going to be showing you today about food and the most maligned food source that there is. So we're being told that we must have protein. Constantly told that you've got to eat it every day, and you must have it for breakfast, you must have it for lunch, and we're told we need to have 3 meals a day. Must have 3 balanced meals a day. What in goodness' name does that mean? Look at the animals in the wild. They don't have a breakfast, lunch, and dinner time. We're the only ones who put that stress on ourselves and tell ourselves things that have nothing to do with nature. We're part of nature. We need to act like it, be like it, and live like it. So when we're told we need to have protein, is that correct? No, we do not need the thing we call protein. What we need is amino acids. So when we eat the protein from other animals, our body then needs to digest it, assimilate it, and eliminate it. And that's a lot of work. And that's why most animal protein takes about 72 to 76 hours to digest, days before it leaves our system, because it is foreign to us. And it takes so much energy. Digestion of these animal proteins takes so much energy to digest that it robs us of our energies. We feel sluggish, hot, tired, exhausted, sometimes overheated, because it overheats our bodies. Digestion does. It's a lot of work. And then we become very dehydrated because this so-called protein has no hydration in there at all. So you see people drinking with their meals or drinking after their meals, and we'll talk about that in another show. So what is interesting to me is that there is a food source that has everything we need, everything. And yet we're told either not to eat it or to eat it only in tiny dosages. And we also mix it with things like animal protein, which takes 72 hours to digest. And yet this does not get digested at all in the stomach. It bypasses the stomach and goes straight into the rest of the digestive system and into our bodies. And most of the digestion of this food source is in the mouth, which means we have to chew, we have to masticate. The fact that we don't want to masticate, we don't want to chew, is the issue. We've become lazy and we throw it down our throats and expect the body to do the rest. But if we do not chew it first, that's the only way that we can actually digest the sugars in fruit. We're talking about fruit. That's why I said, look behind Lisa and you'll see what we're talking about today. Fruit is the most perfect food. Thank you, Lisa. Food is the most perfect food. It has everything that we need. And today, I'm going to be teaching you about some fruit that are very, shall we say, ignored or not known at all in the United States. I'm going to be introducing you to them and explain to you why they're so important to know. First of all, they're fun, they're delicious, they're highly nutritious, and most importantly, it's part of being healthy. It's the most important food source that there is. And yet we're told, no, if you have diabetes or it will cause you shouldn't be eating fruit or it will cause diabetes. Some people even go so far as say fruit will cause cancer, too much sugar. But it doesn't have sugar, it has glucose. Glucose is what we all need. We cannot function without glucose. Look at the animals in the wild, like the cats, the big cats that eat animal protein and animal fats. They're exhausted most of the day. They are always lying down and recovering. The huge, the biggest animals, the gorilla, the elephant, they're herbivores. And they have a lot of energy and they move around a lot and they're enormous. They're huge and they're the strongest animals. Hippopotamus, they're all the strongest animals. We are weak. We're constantly sick because we're not eating according to our species-specific diet. So today I take you on a journey of discovering fruit that you might not know of. So I was just speaking with Sabina about the fact that she lives in a place where there's a lot of winter, and come winter is not much available, but in the summer, spring and sometimes in the spring and autumn, there's a lot available. And we're talking about specific farms, like biodynamic farms, and what is the difference between her experience with eating from a biodynamic farm and not. So I'm going to bring in Sabina. Sabina, tell us, please, your own journey into the fruit kingdom and also between biodynamic and non-biodynamic food.
Well, my journey started really early. When I was 19, I was chronically sick. I had bronchitis, I had constant flus and congestion and digestion problem. I could only go to the bathroom every 3 days, and I always had to walk around with a tissue box because I was constantly had to blow my nose. I was always congested. So chronic constipation and chronic congestion and bronchitis. So a lot of, I was actually called a frail child. And I was always remembering being in bed, not being able to go to school, and having earaches and so many issues. So when I was 19, I actually left my parents because I knew there's something more out there than what I've experienced in a small town in Germany. And I was committed. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired all the time. So I was really committed to experience health, like really vitality and what it's like. And I didn't know anyone who eats differently than I do, but I knew it has to do somehow with what I take in. That was just an intuition I had. And I went to a bookstore in Munich, and I came across the book on the raw food lifestyle. And there were a lot of pictures of fruit in all different colors. So somehow it just called me, and it seemed very natural to go that path. So I completely switched from the standard German diet of eating lots of bread, lots of dairy, lots of sugary drink, lots of meat every day. There was no meal in our house without some kind of animal product, whether it's a sausage or a piece of meat, because my father didn't accept anything else that was not a real meal if there was no meat on the plate. So I actually completely left this behind. I've never eaten meat again. And I just went plant-based and was eating fruits and vegetables. And I noticed within a short time, like everything improved. My nose cleared up. I was actually able to not need a tissue box anymore. And my digestion got better. So just to make a long story short, it was something I discovered naturally at 19, that my diet is plant-based. And then over the years, I kept refining it. And even I ate mostly plants, I still noticed my digestion got a lot better, but it wasn't, I was just going to the bathroom once a day. And then I heard one day someone telling me, if you only go to the bathroom once a day, and I'm talking about number 2, that means you're constipated. And I went from every 3 days to once a day, and I thought, this is good. But no, I heard that I'm constipated. So I wanted to go next level and really, I heard you want to have at least, ideally 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. So I dived deep into the fruits, and that was really what opened up a lot. Combination of fruits and fasting. So I went really deep in eating mostly a fruit diet in combination with water fasting, and just everything just opened up. I suddenly went to the bathroom 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a day. And I was like, I never had this, being chronically constipated. So it was just such a huge eye-opener. I realized, that not just that, also I noticed my energy increased. I just felt happier, waking up in the morning just happy for no reason. I never had that before. So the fruit is definitely the way. I can't tell you, there's no other food that gave me that much happiness, that great of digestion and eliminations, and just great levels of energy. Not even the greens. And I was for a while really going heavy into the greens, eating a lot of greens and vegetables. And I still sometimes felt I'm constipated. So going high into the fruits, that made a huge difference. So that's just my personal story. And it's definitely the fruits are the most powerful food group on this planet. And just look, just look the way they look. You see all these beautiful colors, the colors of the rainbow. Look at the shapes. When you cut open an orange, it's like sacred geometry. So it's not just they taste amazing and they actually are really good for health and energy, but they look beautiful. They look inviting. And the good thing about the fruit, you don't have to add anything. You don't need salt. You don't need any sauces. They're just perfect the way they are. And that says a lot.
Yes, they have their own sauce. They come with a sauce. They come with everything that we need. Tell us something about the difference that you found, especially this year and other years where you live right now, between buying fruits that are just in the supermarket or going to a biodynamic farm and buying them.
Oh, yeah, there's a huge difference. So in the winter, unfortunately, there's a long winter where I live here in the mountains. I have to go to supermarkets to get foods. And I always notice the quality is just, it's okay, but it's not not a high quality. After, going deep into nutrition for so many years, I can taste the difference where most people can't. So now in the summer, I'm very blessed. First, we have berry season, and I actually go to nature and pick wild berries. And it's just something, it's so different. You pick them and they're fresh and you feel the nourishment. And I also go to different farms here, especially there's one farm where I know the farmer personally. It's a woman and she doesn't spray anything, and she plants all with the moon. She makes her own compost. So it's really next level that most of the many organic farms, but hers especially, I notice when I eat her food immediately, just like I eat a piece of lettuce and it's so sweet and juicy. And it's like, it's perfect, And most of the lettuce you buy, it's just there's very little taste in it. And the tomatoes are like out of this world. It's like so delicious and juicy, and they're sweet and really rich in flavor. And you can't get this in any other tomato. They often taste bland to me. So everything I buy from her has such a rich flavor. And it's just, I notice immediately the difference, not just in the way it tastes, but also how I feel. I actually feel nurtured. I feel rejuvenated after a meal. I feel vibrating and energized after eating. So I really get there's a huge difference. It's all about the soil. We all know that. And it's also about the way the energy that you put into growing something. So not that woman, she loves what she does, and I can tell she put her heart into it. She put so much love into the whole process, and you just can taste the difference, because at the end it's all about energy, how you do something, how something is infused with. And if we grow something with love and passion, that energy is infused into the food, and then you take in that food, you will feel that it's all about vibration, and you cannot fake that. It's just, and when you're very tuned in, you will notice the difference.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Thank you for that. Lisa, what are you doing right now with fruits? Tell me.
Oh my goodness. I am so inspired by what you shared, Sabina. And I absolutely echo the sacred geometry that you talked about as it relates to fruit, the energizing aspect of it, and the understanding that it is the love, the frequency of love that's infused in the soil, in the cultivation that we receive in our bodies, and it's amplified, right? So in terms of fruit, I am a blessed person that has the privilege of being in Dorit's course, and she is a wealth of knowledge. She has completely opened my mind and my heart to the possibilities of creating changes in my life. And I've always loved fruit. I love berries. I grew up with berries. I just found out that a strawberry is not a berry, which is, now I have to change my worldview here on that. I found that fascinating. I've always loved fruit, and I have it daily. But the course is, as we begin, starts with watermelons, and we get to be doing a 3-day watermelon cleanse. And I have to be honest that I've never loved watermelon. And so this is a little bit of I've been trying to figure out, is there another, maybe the watermelon I grew up with is not, maybe there's other versions of it, Dorit, that you can weigh in on. Because I learned today there's yellow watermelon, trying to find a watermelon that I can dive into, because I know it's so good for your body. So fruit is a magical part of our experience on earth, and we are so lucky to have it.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely, we are lucky to have it. And so I'm going to go into right now showing different new kinds of fruit that are, actually, they're not new, but to some people they might be, and introducing you to a whole new world that you probably don't know. So, does anybody know what this fruit is? Yes, Lisa. I just use your unmute yourself first, please. Unmute yourself.
It looks like a grape, but is it a fig?
No, it's not a grape at all. It
It's
has
a fig.
It has a thick skin.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to cut it. And I'm only using my. I will never cut a fruit or anything else with a regular steel knife. I'm using only a ceramic knife because I do not want to change the energy of it. So can you all see that as I cut it? There's going to be liquid coming out. I don't want it to fall on my keyboard. So I'm trying my best not to. Look at Lisa's face. So do you recognize this one, Sabina? So I know it as canip, but in Spanish is quinipas, and it goes by many different names around the world. But that doesn't change the impressive nutritional value and the health benefits that it delivers. Do you notice that it looks a little bit like lychee?
Yes.
But so it's not lychee, but it does look at that. Now this actual canip, it has the ability to lower blood pressure, boost the immune system, improve your digestion, strengthen your bones. Anybody dealing with osteoporosis, improve your mood. So if you have mental health problems, and it also, and this will what help improve the moods, I think, it regulates our hormones. A hormone regulator. All those of you saying, "Oh, but I have, I'm going through menopause." Menopause is not an illness. Menopause is a consequence of an ill lifestyle. That's why the Japanese never knew or anything about menopause until they started Americanizing and Westernizing their food source. It didn't exist in Japan, menopause, and in many countries of the world doesn't exist. So this canip, also known in Spanish as canipas, it's native to what we called the New World tropics. So the fruit itself has become a cultural, let me bring it up. It has become a culinary staple in many different Central American and also Caribbean countries as staple. And this fruit goes by many names, such as canipas, guinip, let's see, sinip, lemoncilla, and mamon. You might know them as that instead. So this is one of my favorite fruits out. It's not easy to find. I'm going to let you know that. But if you go to any Caribbean or Central American stores, you'll find them there. I get this from a Mexican market. You need to go to the Latin American markets or Caribbean markets to find them. Absolutely incredible. One of my favorite foods. And it has a lot. I was careful when I opened it because it has a lot of juice. Very high hydration. Now, the next one that I'm going to teach you about, does anybody recognize this one? Yes, go ahead, please, Lisa.
I just wanted, if at the end you could share the spelling of that fruit, that would be good.
Oh yeah, yes. I'm going to actually put the names up. Thanks for mentioning that. These are the names that they go by.
Yes, thank you.
You're so welcome. I ought to have done that beforehand. So now this one, does anybody recognize this one? So this you ought to recognize if you're in North America, because this is native to North America and it's not popular. And I don't know why, but the people who know about it, which are indigenous peoples and the farmers, they love it. It's one of their favorite foods. So it's called pawpaw, P-A-W. So the pawpaw fruit is native to North America and it has a very sweet custard-like texture. Children love it, with flavors reminiscent of bananas, mangoes, and pineapple. And it is the largest edible fruit that's indigenous to the United States. I have another one here. I don't know if you can see this one. And I got a tiny one here. And I'm going to go more into them into this pawpaw. But first, I'm gonna this one I had in the fridge because, unfortunately, I buy this from a place that does wild foraging. If when you go to the do wild foraging, I love wild foraged foods, especially fruits. And this one just arrived, and unfortunately, it was a bit late. Normally, with the pawpaw, when it gets yellow is when it's ready. But this not all, but you cannot go by that for all pawpaw as well. Though sometimes I'm just opening it up for you, and I'm being careful so the juice doesn't come out onto my keyboard. So I'm going to also peel the skin off. I've got to bring this up higher so you can see it. See, it's a custard like it's like peeling a custard. It's absolutely incredible. The absolute there you go. So it's like eating a custard with banana and pineapple and mango. It is amazing. It's very soft. I don't know if you can see that my hands are going in there. But
Now,
this
Doreen, I have a question, right? You mentioned you have a wild forager.
Yes.
How does one cultivate such a contact? Are you willing to share?
Yes, this one is called Sustainable Sorcerers.
You have me at Sustainable Sorcerers.
Yes, Sustainable Sorcerers. You can do. I'll put the link in the
show description.
No, in the comments below afterwards. Yes, pawpaw is really, really an incredible fruit. It's an excellent source of magnesium. Anyone who's missing in magnesium, and most people are, if you're not able to sleep, if you have problems with chronic pain, and if you have problems at all digesting calcium, or if you're low in calcium, usually is because you're low in magnesium, because you need magnesium to digest the calcium. So let me bring the others up here. Here they are. So the indigenous peoples in the United States and in Canada, in the southern parts of Canada, you can find it a lot. So pawpaws are the fruit of it's one of the tribal fruits for indigenous peoples, which is native to eastern United States and southern Canada. This is why you do not know about it, Lisa, because even though you grew up in the north, you were on the west coast of the United States. And pawpaws are the southernmost member of the plant family called Anaceae. So the indigenous peoples also use the bark of the pawpaw tree to make ropes and cloth, because that's what indigenous people did and still do in many ways. They don't just throw something away. They use everything. Everything has a reason. So nothing is thrown away. So this is an excellent source of magnesium, like I mentioned before, of non-hemine iron, very important if you are plant-based, and they're exceptionally high in manganese, which is a mineral that's needed for nutrient metabolism. It's very much needed for immune function, for reproduction, and for skeletal health. Again, skeletal health, just like the knip for bones, again, for skeletal health. It's also important in maintaining optimum vitamin C levels in the body, which is essential for immune function. And it's amazing for protection against illness and infection, and for skin health, and a lot more. I'm not even going to go into all of it. So there are also certain plant compounds with antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. Really important to have. So PAW, pawpaw. And now for my favorite ever, oh, mango. Kiet mango. Now, I'm sure those of you who listen to me a lot, you hear me constantly talk about Kiet mangoes when they're in season.
Didn't you mention there's one for like $1,000 or something in Japan or something?
Okay, but I haven't talked yet. So there's a mango in Japan that is way over $1,000 US. It's more like almost $2,000 US. And then in India, there's another mango that's also pretty expensive, And people from all the states in India rush to that state when it's in season. Of course, it's only in season for a very short time, and people from abroad will go to India just then to have it. That the mangoes in India are incredible. Now, why do I love Kit mangoes? Because it reminds me of the mangoes in India. And the Kit, by the way, Keitt, Kit mango, Keitt. And this mango is huge. Can you see that compared to my hand? Look, the thing is enormous. This, by the way, I paid at the farmer's market. This is organic, of course. At the farmer's market this week, I paid $8 for just this one mango. But I think it's worth it. Now, kit mangoes are a source of vitamin C to strengthen the immune system, potassium to balance fluid levels within the body, calcium to build strong bones and teeth, and fiber to regulate the digestive tract. It also has vitamin B6. For those of you who keep saying that you don't have enough vitamin B6 to support your overall brain health, vitamin A to maintain healthy organ functioning, vitamin E to act as an antioxidant to protect the cells from radical damage, and of course the magnesium, which I mentioned before, to regulate nerve functioning, and other nutrients including vitamins D, B6, K, iron, folate, phosphorus, copper, and selenium. In other words, here is my gift to you. And the smell. I'm in ecstasy just from the smell right now. Now, here is my problem with kit mangoes. I tend, when it's in season, it's a very short season, by the way, only 4 to 6 weeks, and it's in season. If you're watching this show live, it's in season right now, so go out and get it. You can also usually get it from Whole Foods markets and some of the more expensive markets like Erewhon, if you're in Southern California. But also Sprouts will have it for the short period that it's available as well. If you have a Sprouts market near you, go out and get it. These people actually, as soon as it's on the shelves in the market, they leave immediately. The people in the markets and the supermarkets cannot keep them on the shelves long enough. I had one winter where I bought 4 boxes of kit mangoes because there were the last kit mangoes left, because I knew that winter was coming and I really wanted to have them. They last very long. You can keep them in the fridge, not the freezer, but in the fridge. And I ate kit mangoes for over a month. That's all I ate. I ate nothing else. I was in heaven. I had maybe 5, 6 kit mangoes for every meal. And I have never in my life been so elated to eat. I strongly recommend kit mangoes to you all. Strongly. Now, one of my favorite
Can I
things.
ask a question about that? So those mangoes that you speak to, what's the difference in taste between that and the general mango?
Did you just ask? Something is wrong with the audio. Did you just ask what's the difference with the taste, Lisa?
Yes. Between which I love mangoes, period. So what's the taste between like the mangoes that we generally eat versus your specific beautiful queen
Kit mango. Kit. Say the name Kit, because it is the queen of mangoes. Not that I've eaten the Japanese one. That's almost $2,000 US.
I'm going to abstain from that.
Money to do that, to take a trip to Japan and also eat the mangoes while I'm there.
Right.
Have you eaten that mango Sabina, the one in Japan? That's almost $2,000 US. You have to unmute first, Sabina, and I'll mute.
I did not have that mango from Japan, but I did have the Keat mango this morning. And I bought a few one. They have them right now. They just came out, I think, last week. Yeah, so they have them now available. And they're only $2.50 here, not $8.
You only pay $2.50?
Yeah, and they're giant. They're big.
Yeah, they're usually bigger. This is considered small for a kit mango.
Yeah, mine are
$2.50.
Yes, I bought a few when I went to the health food store. They had some.
Can you please explain to Lisa? She wanted to know the difference in taste. I cannot explain it. To me, it has its own taste. Can you explain to her, please?
Well, it's hard to explain, but I would say they have a little bit of maybe a vanilla taste to it.
Thank you.
And they're not as the other mangoes I had. It was like the Tommy mangoes. They were more like orangey inside, and these are more yellowish. Maybe a little vanilla flavor to it, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it's hard to describe because there's.
I will try one.
Yeah, I would just get it and see for yourself.
I'll try one. You guys sold me.
Did you see all that juice that came out of it? When I opened it, oh my gosh, all I did was cut a small part of it. Let me show you all. The juice is unbelievable. It is so juicy. Now, I'm going to bring it up. By the way, I'm going to use bamboo for paper towels. It's very important what you put near your beautiful fruits. Don't use anything that's toxic or with bleach in it. Usually, most paper towels have bleach in them. So I'm not even going to cut it anymore because I don't want it falling all over my desk and everything right now, the mango juice, and I want it in me, not on the desk. But it is yellow. Can you see the yellow a little bit from here, from where I cut? Now, I would suggest always chilling it. I find I prefer it chilled, and most people do as well. I find I've told people to chill it, and they've done both. And then they said, oh, yes, I much prefer it chilled. Do you prefer it chilled as well, Sabina? Sabina,
No.
I don't know if you heard me.
Yes, no, I don't like it chilled.
That's interesting. So it's up to you, for you all to try it, because Sabina, that she said she doesn't prefer it chilled at all. What's the difference for you when it's chilled and not chilled, Sabina?
What's the difference? I would say it's just personal preference.
Yeah, I find that when it's chilled, I actually prefer the juice. It tastes almost like, I mean, I'm not a drinker of alcohol. I've only had champagne once in my life, but I think it tastes more like a highfalutin, highest quality champagne and more. The juice of it. It is quite intoxicating to me because I just love it so much. And Sabina, I think it's worth me taking a plane ride, paying for the plane ride to go to you to buy a few boxes and bring it back with me for $250.
I see a business for you, Sabina. Just sell it to the coast.
The interesting thing, people are not into mangoes here. I want to just quickly share something. Once they had, I think it was the Tommy mangoes, they had them in sale for $1 and they were giant. So I loaded up my cart and had I would say at least 30 in my cart. And then there was a man behind me, he looked at me, he was like, what do you do? Gave me this look, what are you doing with all these mangoes? So I turned around and said, I'm eating them. And he thought probably, this something, I'm doing something exotic. So now I'm eating them. And his jaw dropped. He was like, and then I looked at his cart. It was like all packaged food. I thought it was just interesting.
Which is exactly why we're doing this program today, because packaged foods have nothing to do with being healthy, because the body needs foods that are very hydrating, that the body knows what to do with it. And remember, digestion is very energy robbing. When you eat fruits, you're not robbing your energy. I mean, think about eating a whole bowl of plums. You get energized. It doesn't rob your energy later. You don't have a high and then a low, because it knows exactly, the body knows, it recognizes it and knows exactly what to do with it, and it gets replenished by it. And now here comes something that is even shorter season. Really is going to go away very quickly. These are dates directly from the tree, fresh dates. Yes, fresh dates. So let me just hold these up so you can see them. Fresh dates. If you can get to a date farm or to a date farmer at a farmer's market and get some fresh dates, your life will never be the same in any way, shape, or form. Get thee hence to the nearest farmer's market and get some fresh dates, or find a farmer near you that has a date farm and get some of these dates. Have you ever had them? Either of you? Lisa, no. Sabina.
Yes, I actually had them recently. My son brought it from his dad. He got me, and I was like, "What's that? I've never seen them look like that." So I had one, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is so good!" So he gave me like 3 or 4. It was just a few little bag with it, but they were delicious. It's like so different than because I don't really like the dried dates. They actually hurt my teeth, so I stopped eating them. But the fresh ones, they're like delicious. And yes, I don't know where to find them. I've never seen them here, but I did have a few recently.
You have to go to a date farm. You need to know the farmers. You see, I think farmers are the most precious people on earth. So I make sure I know farmers wherever I live. That's the first thing I do. Most people go to a bar and get to know the locals. Me, I go to a farm and I get to know the farmers, because that's where my health is going to be. And these are the people who supply me my champagne straight from the mango. Who also, this, everyone, this is a Asian pear. If you've never had an Asian pear, I highly, highly, highly recommend for you to experiment with the Asian pears. Really, really important. And for those of you who have problems sleeping at night, might I suggest having a bowl of kiwi? Just cut them up. You can eat, actually, you can eat the skin of the kiwi as well. And eating kiwi as your last meal of the day, an hour or so before going to bed, and goodbye sleeping problems. So you see, nature has a remedy for everything. We weren't just, nature is so loving and so exists just for us, because we need to also give back. It can't be a one-way street. So we have everything we need to be healthy in these absolutely magnificent fruits that have been given to us to enjoy, but very few people know of them. And that's what's so sad. And so, what I would love for you to do today is to go out to the closest farm and find what's in season right now. Make a day trip. I know somebody's going to Disneyland for the weekend, and I thought, oh my gosh, why didn't she go to the farm instead? So, and she's sick. So I thought she should be going to a farm instead. And that's what people need to be doing instead. So I'm trusting that this show will help you to change your mind a little bit about fruit, and that you'll be introduced a little bit to it. Now, to answer Lisa's problem, that she knows that there are different kinds of melons. If you don't want to eat the watermelon, then any melon will do, whether it's cantaloupe. Is it just the watermelon, Lisa?
I'm really not a melon. I don't even like I don't like cantaloupe. I'm going to revisit this because I believe things can shift. I always retest myself as I get older to go, okay, let's try this again and see. Because watermelon is my mother's favorite fruit. I mean, hands down. And I've never loved it, but I probably haven't met the right watermelon yet. And I need to stay open and go for. This is really interesting. I was looking at what the most popular fruits are worldwide. What do you guys think they are?
I know it for sure, banana. I know for sure bananas and apples, and it's the one that is promoted a lot and the one that most people know of. But it depends on the area you're in. In North America, yes, but around the rest of the world, Actually, the guinip is very well known in Central America and Caribbean. They're one of the most popular fruits. And also, it depends where you are. In Ecuador, oh my gosh. And then if you go to Thailand, it's definitely, what do you think it is in Thailand? A durian. The
Yeah,
durian is
durian.
the most popular in Thailand and other places in Asia, in Borneo. Have you ever had a red, this is for Sabina, have you ever had a red durian, Sabina, from Borneo?
I have not had the red one. I just had the regular one. I don't know regular, but sometimes when I used to go to Manhattan, there was some Malaysian markets in, it was years ago, so I haven't been recently, but they had durian, but it's not fresh. That's the thing. They freeze it and then they bring it here, so it's kind of cold. But it was still delicious. But I've never been. I've been to Thailand, but many years ago. I can't even remember what I had, but I have not had the pleasure to have like fresh durian, as it's like right picked from the market.
So thank you for that. It's very different when it's freshly picked, because when it's freshly picked, it doesn't have that disgusting smell. And that's what puts most people off, is the smell of the durian. So Lisa, you've got so many different melons with which to try. So if I were you, I would go on a hunt for the
Yes.
melon that really, meets your fancy right now.
It's
So
the second
what is
most
your favorite?
popular.
What is your favorite? I know your favorite fruit you said is berries. And now
Yes.
blueberries are in season right now. Do you like blueberries too?
hmm I do like blueberries. I do prefer uh, strawberries and blackberries and raspberries. But I do like blueberries. I like wild blueberries. So I find them to be very delicious. Not the bigger ones, but the more nutrient dense ones. By the way, the second most popular fruit worldwide is watermelon. So, worldwide. So that's good to know.
And we also have green plums now too. We've got green plums, we got purple plums, we got all kind of different plums we're going right now, also in season. So this is an incredible time to be eating fruits and to start really experimenting with all the fruits you don't know. But I'm telling you, the best place is a farm or a farmer's market. So some farms specialize only in certain fruits, but if you go to the farmer's market, you get so many different farmers who have so many different things, and it's plentiful right now. This is the time to really stock up and eat and just thoroughly enjoy. Now, why fruits? Also, why are they so healing? Because they're the cleansers of the body. They clean us out. But it's fun because it's fun going in and it's easy coming out as well. And they bring with them so much hydration, which most all illnesses have at the root cause. One of the many root causes is dehydration. So I strongly suggest that you all start eating fruits as a meal. Please do not eat them with anything else. Don't think of them as a dessert after a meal, because like I said before, fruit does not get digested in the stomach. Everything else you're eating goes to the stomach first to digest. If you get the fruit in afterwards, then the body doesn't know what to do with this fruit coming in. You have to chew it first because of all that sugar. So it bypasses the stomach. Fruit bypasses the stomach. But if you have things in the stomach, then it's going to get stuck there. And that's why you get a lot of gas and flatulence and bloating and whatnot. And then you say, oh, I can't eat fruits. No, it's because you're eating them in an improper way. They are a meal of themselves and to their own. So anything else you'd like to add, both Sabina and Lisa?
In terms of favorite fruits, yes, I definitely love the blueberries, and I have almost every day a pound of blueberries for breakfast. I also love the mangoes. Any kind of mango makes me happy. And I also love, there's something about the figs, and I just had last week from the farmer that I mentioned she had some fresh figs, and they were just out of this world, just biting in there, that soft, tender flesh. I find it very sensual, something about very feminine. I find it about the fig. But this is like an experience I always savor because they're so hard to find. And when you find them, they're like super expensive here. So yes, I paid a lot of money, but as I said, it was worth every single biting in this tender flesh and having the experience.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I don't have any figs to show you today because I ate all of mine. Sorry, I ate the green ones and I ate the purple ones, and and also grapes are in season now. Grapes are absolutely incredible. So Lisa, if you don't want to have the watermelon, you can do the grape cleanse instead.
I love grapes. As I
Great.
mentioned before, I'm a grape person. But I have something I want to question you on, Dorit. People might say, well, I don't have, is it going to cost me a lot of money? And I would say you probably don't have to pay for supplements because of the diet you're on. You probably don't have big doctor's bills or medication costs. Would that be correct?
Spot on, Lisa. Spot on. I'm sure Sabina will back this up as well. Sabina, your own journey into the world of fruits. Give us just a quick reminder of what you were experiencing before and what you experienced after.
So I have not been to a doctor in, I would say, at least 20 years. And I have not had any colds, any flus. And the only, sometimes I have little things coming on, such as I have a little pain in my wrist, but I know what to do about it. And I sometimes feel a little sluggish, and I know what to do it. So I have learned to become so connected to my body over many years of purification that I know exactly when something's a little off, my energy is not as it is, I take care of it. I know what to do. And I become my own, calling my own physician, taking care of my health. And that's a huge thing, not to have any, doctor bills. And I don't even go to see, any herbalists or anyone. I just do it myself, and that saves a lot of money. And yes, then I spend when I buy fruits of the highest quality. Yes, sometimes I spend money that people would say, how can you spend that much money on just a few figs? But it's worth to me because at the end it pays off. You're saving in all the doctor bills, all the supplements. I used to take supplements, $500 a month with all the superfoods and all the powders and all the fancy stuff. And I barely don't even do this anymore. So you're saving a lot. But when you look what most people spend on doctor expenses or just seeing even holistic practitioners and supplements, you're saving all that money. So at the end, it makes a huge difference. And then you have something available. And I'm a supporter of supporting the farmers. Even you pay more. Like the farmer I go, she's a little higher price than if I go to the health food store. But I know it's fresh, it's right picked there, and it's a huge difference in vibration. So I rather pay more and give my money to her, because if we don't support these farmers, they go out of business. And we all have big corporations. And so this is a big thing, supporting those farmers that bring the best quality food and being willing to pay more for that, because at the end, it's worth it. And it saves you so much on your health and on the trouble you're facing by, having weakness or low energy or fatigue and all that stuff. If you have a clean diet and you regularly do detoxification, you won't need to deal with all of that. So yes, it's worth it.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Lisa, thanks for that excellent question. And what I see is that is my health insurance. It's interesting because, I'm now living in the United States and I'm forced to pay for health insurance. I don't want to do that because my health insurance is right here and I don't need it. And so what I find interesting is that every single time I'm asked by the health insurance company, come in for your annual this, come in and do colorectal this. And I said, no, I don't need it. And then the first thing, if you go, they ask you, well, what medications are you on? As if it's just automatic that you need to be on medications. And when you say none, they'll go, what? What do you mean? No, which ones are you on? Well, don't you at least have 2 or 3? No, absolutely not. So here's the grand finale. I left this one for the end. Ooh, the coconut. This one is a Mexican coconut. Now you can also get the young Thai coconut, or you can also invest in a Mexican coconut. As you can see, I have a glass straw for it here, and the flesh is inside there, and I will have that later on today. This has been in the fridge. I just didn't want to finish it so I could show it to you. And Lisa, if you decide to then go in and do grapes, you might just have to drink some water. But the thing with the melons is that you don't have to drink any water at all, but you feel free to do that. So Lisa, what has been your favorite fruit since you were a child, and why?
Strawberries. I've always loved strawberries, and I'm sure it's because of I'm Scandinavian, and the island I grew up on that was grown there. So, I had the ability to go pick strawberries and eat them right from the source. So they are my favorite fruit. What about you, Sabina?
I mentioned before, it's blueberries, mangoes, and figs. But there's so many. But I love the berries. I think, yeah. I mean, these are all. I love the color blue and purple. Somehow, I'm always drawn to food I also like the Concord grapes, which are out right now. So I'm specifically drawn to purple and blue for some reason. Yeah.
Don't they look like jewelry? I think they're like jewelry. When I'm eating them, I feel like, oh, I'm feeding myself the jewels of the earth. These are treasures of the earth that I'm feeding myself, and it's just the most intoxicating thing and feeling ever. And this is my health insurance. Ever since I started eating just fruits, never had an illness problem, and I almost died 3 times before. So there's a reason why, and I came very close, and I really mean that. So everyone, what I wanted to just leave with you with today, and I'm going to ask our co-hosts Sabina and Lisa to leave you with one sentence too, is please be aware that what we're taught in schools is we're being taught because people are paying for that. There's somebody behind it and corporations behind it teaching us that. Listen to your body. Look at nature. Look what the animals eat. Animals in the wild most of the animals, the big ones, are herbivores and will eat a ton of fruit. But once we bring them in and we put them in circuses and in our homes and in zoos, they get very sick eating our stuff. And they get our same illnesses that we have. Just that alone should tell you everything. So Lisa, what would you like to end with today, please?
Wow, that just made me a little bit sad actually about the circuses, the animals. I am going to open up my palette, and next time I'm on, I'll share what I find to read. And I loved how you made the analogy of that looking like jewelry, which is another love of mine. So thank you for that.
And, that's true. I forgot about that you love jewelry. And Sabina, we only have 50 seconds, Sabina.
I would say eat the colors of the rainbow. And if you do, you will be dancing to all the colors of the rainbow very soon. That's what I do every day. I dance outside and enjoy my day.
Thank you, Lisa. And thank you, Sabina. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Enjoy being a wild person by eating the wild.